It's not snowing today, but his cold weather gear is worn and he feels the wind like it's ripping straight through him. He's gripping his blaster tightly, his eyes trained on the horizon. He watches his breath fog in the frigid air. Yes, he joined the rebellion to fight for freedom, justice, and an end to tyranny, but right now he's just cold. Cold and afraid. They said they'd have more time, that they'd be safe here, but then he sees them on the horizon as faint silhouettes. He raises the electro binoculars to his eyes, and they focus on the lumbering Imperial AT-AT walkers. Ominous, monstrous, unstoppable. I guess you never really realize the size of the Empire until it's looming directly in front of you. His breaths are slow, almost too slow for his pounding heart. There are others in the trenches, but right now, it feels like it's you alone against an empire. Still, he levels his blaster at the horizon. For Alderaan, for the Republic. He fights for a day he'll never see, for people we'll never know, for an end that now he doesn't even believe is going to come. This is my Hoth diorama, but before we get into it, be sure to check out this point defense turret and this E-web turret. The designers are linked in the description, and I built these with their rubricable instructions. I really had a lot of fun incorporating them into the MOC. They're really expertly made, and I really love how they turned out. So go check those out, but without further ado, let's take a quick peek at what I was able to design. This MOC was a challenge for sure because I already made it difficult on myself by making the trench, instead of just a straight line, this kind of curved angle. I definitely wanted to have more variety to it. I didn't want it to be as boring as it would have been if the trench were just cutting straight through it. So I curved it at this angle. I'm actually really proud of this MOC because I do think that the sides of the trench do a really good job of capturing what snow looks like when it's been shoveled away. As someone who lived in snow growing up, my main goal is to show what snow looks like when it collapses, when it's piled up, and just kind of when it's dug out and compacted. So I do actually think this turned out really cool, and I'm definitely pretty proud of it. One thing that I would have done going back is I would have added a little more variety with some light blues, maybe some aqua blue, a little bit more trans clear blue, and some azures, because I do think that having some ice in it breaks up the white a little bit and just adds to that frosty, really frigid feeling. Up here I added what I assume are generators or maybe power banks for the blaster. And so they have these wires and cables that connect them. We have a technician working on it. Han's a little bit upset with him for some reason, not sure why. Maybe he's just not doing his job great, or maybe Han's just in a bad mood. This E-web is actually connected to another power bank, and that has an adapter that brings power from Hoth Echo Base all the way out through this trench up to it. I really like these large hoses, and I think that they turned out really cool. And I also have this area that was really complex to build, but it's just a little dug out section which adds more variety to the terrain. It almost looks like they were gonna make this trench go that way, then they decided not to. So I actually really liked how that turned out. And to get up on the snow, I added this little ladder. That was just something I had a lot of fun with, adding little details like that that sometimes are forgotten, but they got to get out somehow. So I added that little ladder, which I think turns out pretty cool. And another thing I had a lot of fun with were these quarter brick bases for this turret, lining them up to be diagonal because I didn't have the two on the back. And that's actually, I mean, it's mostly because it didn't fit, but it's more so because, well, at least at the time, they were about $3 a piece. So I didn't want to spend $6 on it, so I just bought two. And it kind of worked out that I needed it at an angle, so now it kind of just sits like that, and I think it actually looks really cool. The E-web turret is really awesome. I did try and design my own, but ultimately, I think that this one captured the look the best. Now, this has been a year and a half, and there have been a lot of parts that have come out since I built this, so I'm sure I could probably build a better one now, but I do think that this serves its purpose perfectly, and I really like how it lines up with the brim of the hat to perfectly fit in front of this Hoth Rebel's eyes. And then up here in the turret, we have our guy surveying the landscape, and he's got his electro binoculars. He actually does not have any legs. He's just sitting in there because it's not hollow, but I really like that. And so I feel like there are the two different point defense systems here, and that they look really good combined. They're the two major things we see along the trenches, so I definitely want to capture both of those. And as far as the figures, these are the ones from the Hoth expansion pack, the minifigure pack that came out. and I actually got that from lego.com for like, I think $7 on sale. And so I got that shipped and got those figures, which was really cool. And then I had to get this Luke. This is one of my favorite original trilogy minifigures ever. I think he looks so good, so I'm just gonna pretend that's not Luke. And I think the story I told you in the beginning is about him. And then we have Mustache Man, Hoth guy, and also Han Solo from that original, I think, what, 2015, 2014 Hoth turret. And so I guess they've upgraded in a lot of ways, but they'll probably die pretty soon. So not the best thing that they could be going through. Still, I really like these figures, wanted to throw them in here. And then if we take a peek underneath, the sidewalk is actually not held in by anything except a little bit of friction and gravity, so that's kind of fun, but it actually stays in there pretty well. And I have this little wedge plate which holds it from kind of falling down, because it's the only thing that overlaps with these plates. If I push on that, it's actually not attached to anything. So I actually was able to build, like you see these plates right here staggered, I was able to build all around that, tiles coming all the way up to it, and it kind of holds it in place, but it's actually only connected here with 4 studs and then is held up here with this wedge. So I had a lot of fun designing that, putting wedges together with hinges, and it turned out really cool to me. And as you can see, the MOC itself is pretty hollow. And yes, I am missing 2 1x4 tiles. I completely forgot about that and never actually bought those, and just noticed that just now. So when designing this Hoth diorama, I had a lot of fun because it's building a part of nature, which is a lot more random than when you're building a structure or a ship that has a rigid design and forces you to work within parameters. This, I just got to build and try and put pieces together to find what looked natural and what worked really well. But I also got to incorporate a little bit of the man-made feel with the trenches which were dug and the snow that was displaced, and being able to put some of the heavy artillery in there as well. The white tower I really thought was cool because it looks like it's trying to camouflage into the landscape, and I feel like that would have been something that was left on Hoth when the previous inhabitants of the base left, and then when these new rebels took position here, they would have brought out the E-Web cannon right there, and so it doesn't match the landscape, but it's part of their point defense system. And so I just kind of thought it was cool to be able to put some different things into the MOC and give a little story to it. It's a little bit of a slice of Hoth. There's obviously a huge picture going on outside of what you see here, and so that's something that's really cool to me. It's just a snapshot. It almost feels like a screenshot of the movie with context clues and anticipation, but really a lot of the scene is missing, and that leaves it up to your imagination. And since it's not based on anything in specific, but just some of the behind the scenes photos of the actual set, I just had a lot of fun being creative and having my own unique ideas that I got to put into it, being able to put whatever figures I wanted into it. I got to build the generators and have Han Solo there because he was a general, so he had to be doing something while they were waiting for the Empire to attack. So I just had a lot of fun just kind of building it, working all these different details into it, and it was actually a lot more difficult because I confined myself to a pretty small space, and I realized after I had built the complex trench that, wow, I need to put 2 weapon emplacements into this, and so I had to put one in the back, one in the front, and I actually think it looks really cool. It balances it out well, and it adds depth and height to it, which was really cool. And for the size, I think I was able to add a lot of variety into it. So I think it looks really cool, and I'm definitely happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you think. And if you're looking to build your own Hoth MOC, you can always check my store out. I do have sales running consistently, so if you are looking to buy any of these white slopes or plates or tiles, I got some in stock. So go check that out. Thank you for watching.